I'm going to tell another story. When I was at the Vajapani Center in United States, California, and at that time, one day, one of the students came to me and asked me if I could go and talk to this dying woman and bless her and help her with the dying. So of course, I accepted the invitation. So I went there, and there was a huge hospital, very intense, a lot of people suffering in the hospital, lots of people. And then when I entered the room, there was a young lady. She had, obviously she had cancer, because you can see no hair on all. Her face was very pale, and she looked really terrible. I think she was going through this chemotherapy. So it was very intense environment when I first came there. And then she introduced to me, and then she showed me, there were lots of pictures in the room, lots of pictures, herself and her, I think, children and her husband and so on. And she was beautiful, beautiful, beautiful young woman. She was, I think, only 30-something, 35 or 6. And then I talked to her. She looked really bad, and she was very afraid, and she was very unhappy about the situation. Of course, we would all feel the same way if we were going through the same situation. So then I talked to her. I gave her some Buddhist techniques to meditate. Then I told her that you know that you are dying, and there is no escape, because this cancer is not going to let you live. So it is better to really accept the death, or face the death with a joyful mind, I told her. Because I said to her, would you like to have a fresh body, or would you like to have this body full of suffering? And her response was, of course, she would like to have a fresh body. And I said, there you go. So then I told the story about Gomde Lharampa, who told that he would love to face the death with joyful mind, because he is old and his body is useless, and now he would love to have a fresh body of the God, you know. So just like that. So I told those stories, and I gave her some instructions on how to really meditate on death and impermanence, and some prayers, some mantra recitations, and then I also gave her my personal mala, which I had for maybe, I don't know, 13, 14 years, or maybe even 15 years. Excuse me. Then I told her, this mala has gone to many, many holy places, like Bodh Gaya, Varanasi, many other, Kushinagar, and Rajgir, Nalanda. So I said this has lots of blessing. Also, I have recited hundreds of thousands of mantras. So then I gave the mala to her, and she was very happy. And then at the end of the conversation, we were all so happy. We were laughing very loud, that people who were going through the hallway were surprised to see us. And normally it is so intense environment, and then now everybody forgot about it, and everybody was laughing. Everybody was laughing. So like that. So it is really very important to really face the reality. And then if you cannot change the reality, just accept it with a really joyful mind, with the dignity. You know, don't get afraid of at all. I will also tell you another story about this wonderful monk. Now I can't even remember his name. He's from Serache. He's from Lao Kangchen. A wonderful, very kind, always smiling and gentle and very humble and very few desires and content with very few things. Wonderful monk. So one day he was circumambulating, and he was wearing this. Normally he wouldn't wear new clothing, and that day he was wearing new clothing. And then people asked why he was wearing new clothing, and then he was telling them, well, why shouldn't I? If I don't wear it today, and then when should I be wearing this clothing, right? So then he went to this restaurant and have some food and nice tea, and then circumambulating the monastery and saying goodbye to everybody. And that, I think one day before, I met him in Balakopi, and he was at the bank. And since he was a very kind person, I just jokingly told him, "Oh, Gela, be careful. There are lots of thieves. You may, lose your money." So he was laughing, ha 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 ha. And then one day later, he was circumambulating. He's wearing nice clothing, and I heard later that he had some debts from the lay people, and he went to those people, and then he returned all the money to them, and still it was short. And he said, "I gave everything to you. Now please forgive me." And then he apologized for not being able to give everything back to them. Then he shook hands with them, and then that night he was circumambulating, and then he was saying goodbye to everybody. And then very next day he was gone.